everybody. Hope you had a wonderful morning, a wonderful Monday, and I hope you're having a great Tuesday thus far. Let's go ahead and look at our bell ringers from yesterday. It's the paper at the top that said Edulastics, and if you looked at your newsletter, you only had to do question 1 and 2 yesterday. So let's go over 1 and 2. Number 1 asked us to highlight, or you could circle, your common nouns. Now let's talk about what a common noun is. A common noun is just a basic noun, okay? So when you think common, just think basic. So a basic noun would be like dog, okay? So it's just very simple, doesn't go into much detail. But a proper noun is more specific. So it would be a certain type of dog. So my favorite kind of dog is a Labrador. So you're just getting a little more specific. So let's look at our question number 1. It said to highlight our common nouns. So those are just our basic nouns. So Olivia would not be a common noun because it's giving us a girl's name. Always is not a noun. Brings is not a noun. Her is a pronoun. So one of our common nouns would be lunch. It's not telling us a specific lunch, it's just telling us lunch. To is not a noun, and school would be our other common noun because it's not telling us a certain school. It's not saying Okolona Elementary. Now let's look at our question number 2. This one's asking about proper nouns. So these are going to be more specific. Would Leo be a proper noun? It sure would because it's giving us a name of a boy. And isn't a noun. Eduardo, yes, because it's giving us another name of a student. Attended would be our verb. And they attended Southside Elementary. Is it just saying school? No, it's giving us a specific school, Southside Elementary. That was your Monday bell ringer. So if you come to see us yesterday to pick up your packets and drop off your packets from last week, you would have seen our sign that we had created that said, if you want a child's mind to grow, you must first plant a seed. So guess what we're going to learn about today? We're going to learn about how a seed turns into Now we're going to watch a YouTube video on the story, The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. Get ready to have your mind blown.
By Eric Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops, and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still, and the mouse does not see it.
That sure was a great book. I would would love to be a seed turning into a plant. But let's go ahead and get started with the comprehension questions that you were given yesterday. Miss Ellis is only going to do the first 7 with you, because I'm going to use the other 7 as a daily grade. But let's go ahead and talk. What were some of the key words that you heard in this story? Now, very obviously, our title words would be one, because we were talking about a tiny seed. So, we talked about a tiny seed. What were some other words we heard? We talked about the wind and how high it went and how low it went. And I'm sure there was many other words that you could add. That's just a few. All right. Our first question said, what time of year it is? So when we think about the time of year, we think of 4 words. We think of seasons, and there's 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, and fall, or autumn. So in the story at the very beginning, it tells us it's what time of year. It's autumn. And of course, I told you, if you're a lot more artsy than Miss Ellis is, you could draw a picture to go along with your answer. But is writing autumn enough? No, ma'am, no, sir. We've got to turn it into a sentence. So we could say, the time of year is autumn. And when Miss Ellis thinks of autumn or fall, she thinks of pumpkins. Now, Miss Ellis isn't a great drawer, but this is a little pumpkin. I don't have a green marker, but I think of a pumpkin, and I think of green leaves. Yeah, Miss Ellis is not a drawer. And I think of football. That's another thing I think of. All right, let's look at question number 2. Question number 2 says, what is blowing? Well, common sense would tell us what's something that blows outside? The wind. But it wasn't just any normal wind. It was what kind of wind? It was a strong wind. So are we just going to write strong wind? Oh no, because we got to write a complete sentence. So we would say, there was a strong wind blowing. And of course, if I wanted to draw a picture showing a strong wind, I would just draw some little waves in the air, and it was going just whoosh, because it was really fast. All right? Number 3 says, what is special about one of the seeds? Oh, so we have a seed that's not ordinary. It's not like every other seed in the story. What's special about this seed? Let's think back to our title. Our title says it's a tiny seed, so we've got a seed that is so much littler than the others. So we have one seed is really tiny. And if I wanted to draw a picture showing the differences in my seeds, I could draw one that's really little and one that's much, much bigger. Big seed, tiny seed. All right, the next one says, what happens to one of the seeds? So we're learning about a bunch of different seeds, and all these different seeds are on the same adventure, trying to turn into a plant, but different things are happening to them. So what's something that happened to one of the seeds? Well, one of the seeds flew way higher than the others. So one seed flew way higher than the others. And if we wanted to draw a picture showing that, we got our sky. They're up in our beautiful blue sky. we've got one seed up here, and all the others are down here flying. So we've got one seed that's way higher than the others. And then our next question says, what does our special seed do? What is our tiny seed, the one that we want to learn so much about because he's so different than the others? What does he do? Does he fly high like the other seed? Nope. He flies right along with the others. Tiny seed flies right along with the others. So if we want to draw a picture of that again, we can draw our beautiful sky. We've got our normal size seeds flying, and our little baby seed is flying right along with them. Oh no, we have another seed that does something crazy, does something on its own. What does the next seed do? It makes a big mistake, and it flies high up in the sky, way too high in the sky, and guess what? It gets burnt up by the sun. So another seed flies so high it gets burnt by the sun. So if we want to draw a picture of that, we could draw, again, Miss Ellis is not an artist, draw our sun. Don't laugh at Miss Ellis's drawings. I hear you laughing. Don't you do it. Flies right up into the sun and gets burnt. And the last one. What happens with our tiny seed now after this other one gets burnt right up? Anybody? Our poor tiny seed is not able to fly as fast as the others anymore. So, tiny seed doesn't fly as fast as the others. And if we want to draw a picture of our tiny seed and our other seeds, we'll draw our beautiful sky. And little tiny seed is way back here, and all the others are way up here. So far in the story, we've learned about the tiny seed and how he was trying really hard to keep up with the other seeds, but he's so tiny compared to the others. We learned about a seed that flew way higher than everybody else, and then we learned about one that flew so high that it got burnt by the sun. Stay tuned tomorrow to find out what happens to the tiny seed and his friends.